this time, I'd like to call the regular meeting of the month, Township Supervisors to order. Please stand for a pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Mr. Schiffbauer? Here. Mr. Vernon?
Here.
Mr. Scott here. Number 5, the Roadmaster's report. Mr. Vernon?
Thank you, Mr. Scott. Roadmaster's report for the month of October. We hauled compost out of our transfer station 17 days. We used the tractor 5 days in the month of October. We trimmed trees throughout the township 15 days. We trimming trees so our plow trucks did not strike any of the tree branches when they made their final snow. We used the sweeper truck for 5 days. We replaced the stop sign on Water Street in Revere, and we patched the following locations: Lee, Hague Lane, Eagleston Street, Cherry Tree Lane, Lebanon Avenue, Vine Street, Patty Drive, David Drive, Tyrone, Franklin, Redstone Furnace, Hound Dog Road, Wiggins Lane, Duck Hollow, Mulberry, Brownfield Lane, alley off of South Mount Vernon Avenue, Elizabeth Street, Southwood Drive, Perry Street, Farm Road, Cold Oak Run, Regency, Sharwood, Buttermilk, North Locust, and Sunrise. And also we worked on our office, converting our meeting into an office. We did that the whole month of October. Anything else you guys want I might have missed?
No. Thank you, Mr. Vernon. Number 6, the sewage report. We installed 3 backflow preventers, laterals, 2 of them in Hopwood, 1 of them on Caleb Court. Redstone Furnace and Brownfield Road grant project. John, do you have an update on that?
So the update for that project is that we've issued the notice to proceed to the contractor. We're awaiting his bond and his submittals for material to be used on the job. We were in touch with him yesterday, let him know that he's somewhat delayed in getting the material to us, but he's assured us that he can still meet the deadline for the project.
Okay, thank you. Route 21 pump station, pump 2 is being repaired by Cappy. I mentioned last month that it was out. We have to purchase a new control panel for the Salem Heights pump station. We're putting that out for prices here in the next couple of weeks. We do have some other backflows to install. We just bid those out. They should be installed by December 1st. And other information while I have, we did get the bike system in at Hutchinson that was donated by Walmart. We only have 5 of the 10 bikes out. The other 5 will be put out in the spring, but it's been successful so far. We had 23 rentals the first week that it was out. So if you're interested, you go out to Hutchinson. We're going to keep them out till probably the end of November, and then we'll put them away for the winter. But if not, try them in the spring. We had the 2nd annual Haunted Treats on the Trail. It was successful. We had over 500 kids participate. Soccer registration is open as of November 1st. It opened. It will be open until December 6th. It's for children age 4 to 18. And you can register at the South Union Township website, southniontwp.com. We're also going to have another event at Hutchinson. We're going to have Santa Claus on a horse-drawn carriage. The information will be on the website. I don't have much we're still finalizing all that. So I should have that here soon. But keep on our Facebook page and southniontownship.com. That's all I have. Gentlemen, have anything else?
That's it for you.
Number 7, code enforcement, Mr. Vernon.
Thank you, Mr. Scott, again. Report for the month of October. Again, we have 1 full-time officer going today and 1 part-time officer going today. And we have officers working in the evening and also on weekends. The letter for property maintenance sent out for October was 3. We had junk vehicles was 3. Dog complaints we had 2. 1 was cited and 1 complied. We have one burning complaint. Again, we burn just on Saturdays from 8 to 5. Must be a controlled blaze. High grass we had 8, and 6 compliant, 2 we at the site. Squawk complaints, we had 2 official squawk complaints, but we have that problem throughout the township. Delinquent garbage accounts, we have 9. Citations issued by our code officer was 17. We had handicap ticket, parking tickets, we had 32. We had 29 issued for the fire lane, for a total of 61. Total miles traveled by our code officers was 3,297 miles. Down was our full-time and part-time daytime officers traveled 2,117. Our part-time officers in the evening on weekend travel 1,180 miles throughout the township. That completes my report. Anything else you'd like to add?
Yes, sir. Anything, Mr. Shipwire?
I have nothing further.
Moving on. Motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of last month's meeting.
I'll second Mr. Shipwire's motion.
Motion and proper second on the roll call. Mr. Shipwire.
Yes.
Mr. Vernon.
Yes.
Mr. Scott, yes. Motion carries. Number 9, update on Route 40, 119 bypass intersection. We had a meeting with PennDOT this past month. Bob, you can enlighten them on that.
Yeah, this is a problem as far as traffic goes and stacking at that intersection. If anybody's, you're all familiar with the traffic that's coming from the mall back to Uniontown, and it goes underneath the bypass. We've had a problem there ever since the bypass was constructed. Lack of stacking for cars to make a left-hand turn going north on the bypass. There's only room for about 5 or 6 vehicles, and after that they start to back up into the through lanes. But this is a good problem in a way. As you know, the township experienced a tremendous amount of business and retail development starting in the late 80s and ran all the way through 2000 up to 2010, 11, 12. And the development, the degree started to slow down here in the area in South Union Township. And our township is dependent very much on the tax generated through that type of development, through the retail and business development. You know, the market's changed. Also, the influence of internet sales has had a profound negative impact on the retail end of it as far as shoppers in local neighborhoods like South Union Township. But fortunately here, in the last 2, 3, 4, 5 months, we've seen somewhat of a resurgence in the development in the area of the Uniontown Mall, the Fayette County Business Park, and the Fayette County Crossing. And North Union also has experienced some development, and it appears that because of the way things are looking right now as far as the future, there is going to be additional development that will be taking place. And when there is development, we always have to deal with PennDOT. They are concerned with the impact of this new development and the additional traffic that's usually developed because of that flow of traffic from the new businesses. In North Union Township, we just had a recent business open up there, the Texas Roadhouse, and there's another store about to open up, the Aldi's. They have moved from the Uniontown Shopping Center to that location there at the New Salem and Route 40. And fortunate for South Union Township, we have met with the Fayette County Redevelopment Authority, meeting with Menards. In case you're not familiar with Menards, it's a large store development that sells various items like wood, something like Lowe's, and kind of a combination of Lowe's and Walmart. Their footprint's usually at least a 200,000 foot square store or even larger. They have indicated to us that somewhere probably 200,000, 15 square feet, I believe. They are locating right now, or they're planning to locate. They just started to do their due diligence in the business park next to the Toyota dealership. And the unique thing about them, in addition to their store that they're planning on building, they're quite unique. They are a developer of other businesses. So they have negotiated with the Fayette County Redevelopment Authority the purchase, I believe, of 80 acres in the park, and they are planning to bring in other stores, businesses, and I think they've even mentioned that they may very well be doing some residential development. So we're looking at, fortunate, a long-term growth in that area, in South Union Township and also in North Union Township. I know the county commissioners and North Union supervisors have property behind Mount Macrina that they want to develop. They've been working with West Virginia University to locate a medical center along Route 40. So one thing that has to be addressed is the traffic situation, particularly at the intersection that we're going to be talking here today. So before I go any further, I'd like to call on Mr. Over. He's very familiar with this questionable intersection of Route 40 and the bypass. And John, I'd like you to explain what's going on there, and also maybe explain the process in which we can help the township and the county commissioners help bring about some funding through PennDOT to upgrade that section to make it more attractive to additional traffic and accommodate our future development.
Sure. So as Mr. Shipfire pointed out, I've got this aerial map of the area. The interchange we're talking about is the interchange on Route 40 and 119 bypass. Currently, that is a diamond interchange as designed. It's been that way since the roadway was built. And the left turn lane movements, if you're traveling eastbound on Route 40 and need to make a left to get on 119 north, or if you're traveling westbound on Route 40 and need to make a left turn to get on 119 south, those are conflicting movements underneath the bridges itself right now. And there's very limited distance for stacking underneath the bridge. So we had a very good meeting with the PennDOT and their staff, and they're going to begin looking at this interchange in the least. You know, we don't have a lot of room there with all the businesses around this interchange, so the least, the design for the least amount of land needed would be called a diverging diamond interchange. It's an interchange that they recently incorporated in Washington County at 19 and Interstate 70. So that would take up the least amount of room. You basically would have crossover traffic if you were going east on Route 40. You would actually cross over into the westbound lanes, and then you can have through traffic and continuous moving right turns all in the same signalized time frame, therefore increasing the flow of traffic through there. In order to do something like that, it's going to be a pretty expensive project. According to the district executive, he was probably looking at somewhere around $10 million plus to do that type of interchange. And that's important because it's going to take the support of the legislators in this area to get this project put on the TIP program for funding. He's committed to having his staff look at the preliminary design and some schematic designs to see how this would function. But in his opinion, that's probably the best interchange for that area. In addition to discussing just this interchange, he also discussed the entire corridor on Route 40 from Matthew Drive all the way to the diamond interchanges that exist right now, and actually looking at a project to synchronize all the lights through there to coordinate the traffic flow through that area. We definitely have an issue in where the new Sheets is at New Salem Road, and also at Mary Higgins Lane and Park Drive. You know, that area right now is, it was designed to certain capacity. Something that Supervisor Scott is always concerned with is that, Sheets and Walmart put in a lot of money for improvements along Route 40, and there are some inherent design capacities associated with that in an over-design. Well, each one of these little small developments, as Jason pointed out to the district executive, they kind of get a free pass. They don't have to put any money into it, And you know, that's really not fair to the larger developments when they come in there. So we're going to take a look at the entire corridor and ways of trying to improve traffic, especially around New Salem Road and Mary Higgins Lane and Park Drive in this area, especially with, as Mr. Schiffauer put, with the development of the Menards on the backside of Walmart adjacent to the existing Toyota garage. The other issue, the long-term plan, the county commissioners were at the meeting itself. The long-term plan is this entire region, including the area owned by Mount Macrina right now, the Sisters of St. Basil, this entire area is primed for development. So the county commissioners are tasked right now with, they've just finished their county comprehensive plan. Well, they really need to take a look at a detailed comprehensive plan for this area, you know, associated with the types of roadways on, you know, taking advantage of Northgate Road and basically getting a roadway network in this area instead of relying on putting all the traffic on Route 40. So those are 3 phases of a project. You know, the most important phase is doing something with this interchange, because this absolutely is critical, and then basically looking at what else can be done on Route 40. But it's going to be imperative that the county commissioners, in coordination with the township supervisors in South Union and North Union and the city officials, because the city line is right here, working together as a team to make sure that the Southwest Regional Planning Commission gets this on the TIP program.
Yeah, one thing I want to stress, you know, our county, you know how depressed we are. There are few things that we could look to in the future as helping the area with our economy, and this stands out as undoubtedly the biggest positive that we could hope for. And seeing that development is critical to strengthen our area's growth and make our place even a nicer place to live. Unfortunately, there's only just a finite amount of money that is available for highway funding. And that's why we have started the meeting we had with Mr. Cesar at PennDOT. We are showing and indicating we have a joint effort together with the local elected officials, with the Fayette County commissioners, the other county agencies, and I want to thank Mr. Cesar for his cooperation and particularly his open-mindedness as to addressing this problem we are talking about here today. And we certainly cannot allow this to impede or restrict that growth one bit. And I think if we work together, we have in the past, we've been very successful in the future in gaining funding through the various levels on the state and the federal. And we had a great relationship with Congressman Murtha and our state legislators, Senator Kusunik, and others that help corner funds, Matthew Drive Extension, Route 21 project, are good examples that help stimulates and allows for that growth. And that's exactly what we want to do here. And we will be keeping the public informed as to how we progress with gaining that funding. But there is no doubt it is very critical to this area in Fayette County that we are successful in gaining the funds to upgrade this particular intersection here. We will let you know. We will keep you posted. I'm sure we'll have something in our next meeting. And if anybody's interested, have any questions, the Board of Supervisors would be more than glad to answer your questions. Just give us a buzz or stop by, and we'll be glad to talk to you and explain what we're doing here.
Thank you, Mr. Schiffauer. Mr. Vernon, you have anything to add? No. Number 10, motion to adopt the proposed budget for fiscal year 2020. I have a proposed budget here. I'll just read through real quick, and if you guys have something to add, is that all right? The general fund will have a total of $3,168,053. Our expenditures will be $2,992,618. Liquid fuels will be $719,610. Our expenditures will be $719,610. That balances out. Our hydrant fund will be $25,866. Our expenditures will be $24,516. Tails on the trail will be $28,619 and expenditures of $10,000. The athletic fund will be $111,325 with expenditures of $63,800. The North Union, South Union Intergovernmental Board Fund will be $146,805 and the expenditures will be $134,448. In the sewage department, charges for service will be $2,729,000 and our expenditures will be $2,820,014. In the recycling fund, $118,133 and our expenditures will be $35,632. We are going to bounce, as you can see, we're bouncing our budget with no tax increase. I think you guys know, was it 48 years, no tax increase?
48 years.
Something like that, I think it was. Do you guys have anything to add to the budget? Do you have anything to add?
No, I'm just glad that we're not raising taxes.
No tax.
I don't have to see any more.
Well,
Unlike the school board.
I'll make a motion to adopt the proposed budget for the fiscal year 2020. Do I have a second?
I'll second your Scott's motion.
On the roll call, Mr. Scott, yes. Mr. Vernon?
Yes.
Mr. Schiffbauer?
Yes.
Motion carries. Number 11 is a motion to advertise for 750 tons of AS1 anti-skid. That's the sand we use in the salt sand mixture for our winter maintenance. Bob, you have anything to add on that, Rick? No, we've been using it, what, for 2 years we've been using the sand?
At least two, maybe 3 years now. Yeah, I remember we were using ashes and gravel and this sand mixture with the salt has seemed to work very well. We get very few complaints. It's very effective in cutting the ice and snow and almost no complaints as far as damage done to the vehicles. Like,
we have a lot less maintenance on the vehicles.
It's a little bit more expensive, but I think it provides a nice service to the people in our township.
Yeah, the cleanup in the spring is definitely minimal compared to what it used to be. Chair will entertain a motion to advertise for 750 tons of AS1 anti-skid.
I'll move to advertise.
A motion, we have a second.
I'll second Mr. Vernon's
On
motion.
the roll call, Mr. Vernon?
Yes.
Mr. Schiffbauer?
Yes.
Mr. Scott, yes. Motion carries. Number 12, pass a resolution adopting a memorandum of understanding with Goodwill Industries to extend the recycling collection agreement for 2020. Bob?
Yeah, we've been working ever since the mandatory recycling was put into effect back in 1990, 91. And ever since the very first day, we went into an agreement, a contract with Goodwill to collect our recyclables. They collect them, they process them, and they market the recyclables. I know they've had some ups and downs. Their cost has increased substantially over the years. Unfortunately, our legislators have done very little to stabilize that recycling market, and they are susceptible, especially to the recent actions here of China, who stopped taking a substantial amount of recyclable material that was derived from the United States. It's put a further strain, but we did reach an agreement with them last year. It seems like it's working fine, and recently we were requested by Goodwill to extend that agreement for another year, and I think after discussing the matter, we, the Board of Supervisors, are pretty much in agreement of extending that for another year. And briefly spoke with the North Union Supervisors. They are partners with us in the recycling program, and I'm pretty sure that they'll be doing the same thing, extending the memorandum of understanding for another year.
Thank you. Do you have a resolution there for that or not?
I
None? Okay. Get it.
Yeah, you just approve it tonight.
Yeah. Get it. Yeah, I guess. Will Chair entertain a motion to adopt the memorandum of understanding for Goodwill Industries to extend the recycling contract for the year 2020?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to extend the Goodwill contract through the terms of the recently submitted memorandum of understanding by Goodwill Industries for a year period.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second Mr. Schiff's motion.
Roll call, Mr. Schiffbauer?
Yes.
Mr. Vernon?
Yes.
Mr. Scott, yes.
And I have to stipulate, there's no increase
No.
in the charge. It stays
And that's
the
what
same.
the $1 surcharge that we came up with, I believe, 2 years ago. That was to balance out the contract that we signed with them. So, and that was the only increase since, would you say, 1993 or something like that? It was a long time. 98.
90.
It was a long time for New England.
I think it's actually 91.
Might be.
Yeah, that's good.
But, and the service, I mean, all in all, we get a few complaints, but the service is pretty good, I feel. Number 13, motion to approve a professional service contract with Hoffman Kennels for 1 year effective January 1st, 2020. Mr. Vernon?
Yes. About 7 or 8 years ago, our SPCA in Fayette County closed down. We were all stuck with what we're going to do to handle the dogs and the cats. And Hoffman's Kennels handles about 60 or 70 municipalities throughout the tri-state area. Contacted the Twp County Supervisors Association, and I think we hired them about 7 years ago. And I think we're the only township that has to pick up the dog law enforcement officer, and also they'll pick up cats for us. If we catch them, they'll come down and pick them up for us. We pay an extra $200 a month for that. But they've been real good with us, and we have a girl that used to live in Fayette County in South End. She's been super with us. We call her to come out and pick up the dog, or if the dog's running loose, or dog doesn't have the license, they'll check the dog license for us also. So they asked for a $10 raise this year, so I think that's more than fair. So for the year 2020, starting in January, we're asking for $640 per month, including picking up the cats for us, the kittens.
That's pretty much on course with what's happened. I think when we started the contract, it was $600 each.
600,
They've
yeah.
asked for $10.
They've been pretty good with the cats.
And she actually stops in at least once a week just to see if we have any issues.
At least, yeah.
Even if we don't call her.
Yeah, she's from
Yeah,
there.
they're real good.
Yeah. I'll make a motion then to award him a contract for 1 year, the beginning of January 1st, 2020 to the end of 2020.
I'll second the motion. On the roll call, Mr. Vernon?
Yes.
Mr. Scott? Yes. Mr. Schiffbauer?
Yes.
Motion carries. Number 14, comments from the public. Comments? Number 15, financial statement. Mr. Treasurer.
Yes, sir. My financial statement is as follows. General fund checking account, $236,949.51. Our general fund investment account, $183,869.57. State fund is $366,109.41. Our hiking fund is $6,924.52. Athletic fund, $26,698.96. Our payroll fund, $4,652.21. Our trails on the trail fund, $8,214.44. Our North Union South Union Intergovernmental Board Fund, $23,550.89. And our recycling fund is $79,067.27 for a total for road department is $936,636.78. And our sewage fund we have in there is right at this time we have $2,572,687 for a grand total of both funds of $3,509,323.78. That's my report as the treasurer.
Thank you, Mr. Vernon. You have any corrections, Mr. Schiffbauer?
No, I don't. Did a good job.
Moving on. Motion to pay all current bills, Mr. Secretary.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to pay the following bills. From the state fund, $15,724.84. The North Union, South Union Intergovernmental Award Fund, $11,204. Tails on the Trail Fund, $2,102.82. Sewage Fund, $159,302.22. Recycling Fund, $2,636. From the Hydrant Fund, $3,515.02. From the Athletic Fund, $6,607.08. And the big one, the General Fund, $215,398.16. That's my motion.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second Mr. Schiffauer's motion.
On the roll call, Mr. Schiffauer.
Yes.
Mr. Vernon.
Yes.
Mr. Scott, motion carried. Number 17, Mr. Engineer.
The only additional item that I'd like to mention to the supervisors is the Greater Uniontown Joint Sewage Authority has submitted their NPDES permit renewal to the DEP, and as part of that permit renewal, we're actually asking for an increase in our capacity at the plant from 9.4 million to 12.3 million gallons. I have a meeting with the DEP, the engineer for the Greater Uniontown Joint Sewage Authority, and the general manager on November the 18th, hoping that that is going to be an approved application.
We did have one resident send in a rate to know asking if the plant was big enough for the capacity of North Union, South Union. I actually sent it over to Dean to answer, but maybe you could touch on that, just how many million gallons a day we treat.
So on a normal day, the plant is currently rated for 9.4 million gallons a day. On a normal dry day at the plant, we treat somewhere around 5 to 5.5 million gallons per day. We're actually asking for an increase to 12.4. On a rainy day, when we get a lot of I&I in the system, the plant can process 20 million gallons and basically still meet its discharge limits, but we're asking for a 12 million gallon, an increase of 3 million gallons to 12 million gallons. But typical treatment process is around 5 to 5.5 million gallons a day.
So it's way.
It's plenty big enough for the 3 communities that it serves.
I know I've talked to Dean before about that. He said that the problem, why they don't increase it to hold, say, the I&I from a rain event is due to the bugs, he was telling me, because it won't.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, you can certainly increase the size of the plant, but you got to keep the bugs alive, and it needs the BOD from the system to keep the bugs alive. We actually did have a problem several months ago that we didn't have enough bugs to actually even keep the system alive for treating 5.5 million gallons a day. A lot of people are concerned because of the dairy and the product the dairy puts out, but we actually need the food from the dairy and the waste from the dairy to actually keep the plant operational.
Or you do like Alcosan does, just let it run right in the rivers down in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, they're going through an intensive redesign of their system right now and reconfiguration of their system. The Alcosan's residents are going to see their bills nearly triple or quadruple in size over the course of the next several years.
If they could get away with this for how many years?
For a long time.
Would you mind touching base real quick on that? I know you did a HEC-RAS study for the city.
Yes.
Could you touch on that, just from residents having flooding, just to see?
Sure. So the city made application for a small sewer and water grant. It was actually approved, but part of their approval was that they have to do a HEC-RAS analysis on Redstone and Colic Run. We've done some preliminary analysis. We're now in the gathering of information stage. Even if you don't live within the city and you've had some flooding instances outside the city limits, any information that we can get, there's a questionnaire that's available online or in the office, or you can call our office and we'll email it to you. You submit that questionnaire along with actual data on loss, whatever you lost. If you can tell us, not in feet and inches, what kind of flooding event took place in your home, you can tell us by, it went 3 blocks up on my basement, or it went knee-high in my basement. Something that we can kind of judge as to the water level, because the next phase of the study is actually to take that data, incorporate it into the model, the HECRAS model itself, and actually start looking at corrective action relative to how we can, where the worst case scenario is and what we can do relative to corrective action. I tell everybody that if you know what redstone looks like and how redstone flows from South Union down to where it meets in the confluence of Cold Lick Run, the last part of that run in redstone actually goes under a bridge at Beeson, then a very low trestle of the old railroad trestle, goes under the old train station, and then makes an immediate 90-degree turn to go down at the confluence of Cold Lick Run. That is a significant convergence going on there, which causes a lot of backwater in the system all the way up into South Union Township. So one of the things that we'll be doing in the model is looking at potential relief in that area or realignment of redstone to basically allow the flow to be a smoother transition. And there are other areas too, like at Dunbar Street, where it goes under basically a lot of buildings. So we're going to be looking at that. And those are all high dollar items, but this study must be done so that we can get on the capital improvement project through the state to get significant money to maybe do some of these projects. Acquire buildings, acquire property to do some realignment and things like that.
Yeah, and the flooding seminar we went to, it addressed that you have to start downstream. You can't start upstream correcting problems. So,
that's correct.
You have to go downstream to start. But that's definitely a step in the right direction. You guys have anything else to add, Joel, or questions? Mr. Solicitor.
I have nothing to report.
All right. You guys have anything else?
That's it, Brendan.
Chair will entertain the motion to adjourn. Actually, I'll make it at 4:37. Do I have a second?
I'll second Mr. Scott's motion.
On the roll call, Mr. Scott, yes. Mr. Burnham?
Yes.
Mr. Schiffmeyer?
Yes.
Motion carries. This meeting is adjourned.
Nice little smile.
That is.